Hello. Alright, so we're going to get started in a second. Just trying to organize myself here. Spotify. Just trying to figure out what music I want to play. I wasn't very happy with the last few playlists. Yeah, I guess I can do this one again. Alright, so today I want to rebuild Jump and Shoot Man. I have some ideas for what I want to do with this game. I want to turn it into a tutorial. I want to clean it up, and I think this would be a good opportunity to do that. So I think to get started, what we're gonna do is we have this current version. I think I'm gonna move back over to this workspace here. What was in this sandbox? Pre-LD. All right, I'm gonna start by making an art pack for Jump and Shoot Man. What I was trying to take a look at here is what the final sprites look like. Sprites. These were like the final sprites that I wound up using in the game. There's probably a few things that I'm going to want to do with this to clean up. Most notably, I want to add the black outline to everything. I was using a palette for it, but I want to sort of make this... Well, I don't think I can, actually. Yeah, okay, I know what I'm going to do. All right, so we're going to build an art pack real quick. Well, I don't know. We'll start with that. I want to. So what I'm gonna get to the point is where like this is built into the engine, and you can just sort of select, hey, I want to do Mega Man, and get all the artwork for it. This was the original references, and what I'll probably just do is add in the other two missing animations. Okay, let's start there. I'm gonna let's come here and print working directory. So let's create a new task. I'm going to call this rebuild Jump and Shoot Man. Hey. So, all right, rebuild Jump and Shoot Man is the project, and our task for the morning is create art pack, create a random map gen code, create entity / animation code, create spawn code. And all right, we'll start with that. It's going to we're going to need to do. I mean, this is going to take me a few days. What I'd like to do by the end of the week is have the entire game rebuilt and cleaned up. So we're going to start by I built a new version of Pixel Vision 8 last night. Right, I copied it over this morning. And this one should have some basic bug fixes. Let's paste in this new path. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to file a bug real quick. Chrome. All right, so what we're gonna do is I need to just file a bug real quick that I noticed before that I don't think I filed. And I did go through and I started creating some milestones, some new milestones and some goals that I want to do with the engine. By the end of the month, I'm going to release the critical bug fixes, and then I'll do the next round is I want to get this running on mobile and console, and then we'll do tool refinement. So I want to file a new issue, and basically it's workspace path is set when pasted in. Need to make sure that the workspace path only changes when save is pressed. Right now, pasting a new path saves it, but all right. Assign that to myself. It's a bug, and we'll set this for the current milestone. All right, so what I did do though for this critical bug fix, I have been closing out issues. So these are the bugs that have been closed and will be put into the next release. All right, so now we're at this here. What I wanted to do was I want to create a new Game Boy template. Let's create a new game, and we're going to copy over our artwork and start getting this to work. So here's our workspace. This is our sandbox. If you're just tuning in, I'm using my own game engine, Pixel Vision 8, and this is the Game Creator, which is a set of tools that help you build games with it. What I want to do is I'm taking my Ludum Dare game, and we're going to clean up all the artwork and get that into a sort of a easy to use art pack. So tile map matrix. So basically we need these two things, and I'm going to open up with Photoshop, and we're going to create a basic art pack. I think what we'll probably start with is an animation test where we create something that allow us to just spawn entities and then take a look at what they look like. And the goal of, as I go through and build this stuff out, my goal is to basically create this in a way that we can, I just want to see, 1, 2, 3 pixels, or 3 colors, 1, 3. I was looking through, and so what I did before is I created a let's do this. Let's copy over some of the other sprites that are missing, and this way I can just sort of give you all of the sprites that you need. Oops, not what I wanted. Actually, what I'm going to do is let's delete that, and then as we move these things over, we'll have a better sense of where they go. I'm actually going to move the player. Whoops, no, I want to bring that back. Let's do this. Over here, I'm going to start cleaning up this stuff, and the goal is that I just want to get it to where this is just a much cleaner sprite sheet. So this was the template. Yeah, see the reason I was is Game Creator Pro everything you need to make a game. Yes and no. So Game Creator Pro gives you a lot more debug tools. the workflow is really designed to be to use your own tools. What Game Creator Pro does is it allows you to like preview colors, take a look at what the sprites are in memory, go through and take a look at the tile map, and then generate out sounds and stuff. So, you know, there's a free version. I'm probably going to start adding these tools into the free version. I just haven't gotten around to it yet and figured out how I want to do that, because I want everyone to basically be able to make games with Pixel Vision 8. What the separation between the Pro and the not is that you're going to get more source code. And then there's two versions. You got to pay for a flat rate, or you could do a monthly one for $1 a month. Basically, I'm just looking to people to help support the development of it while I continue to get really good artists and stuff to make stuff for it. So what I want to do real quick, I hate plugging. I'm like really not good at it. What I wanted to do was there were a few things that I was doing in Jump and Shoot Man that are different than the other than the main tile set, and I wanted to sort of make that. I wanted to sort of move that stuff over, and I'm gonna try to get this tile set to be as close to what you'd need to make like a full like Mega Man game as possible. All I was trying to do is I'm trying to get this at least to be a little bit more organized. Because let's see, this is the jump and this is the jump animation stuff. This was the run animation, and if I remember correctly, I'm just going to go in. I can't remember how I did the animation, so I'm just going to take a look real quick on entities. It was 3242. 3242. Where did I put the Sprite Builder folder? Player 3, 2, 4. So 3, 2, 4, 2. 3, 2, 4, 2. All right, so we need to put that in the middle. Do. So like that's walk animation. This was the idle animation stuff, and then I'll put the other player stuff down at the bottom. Because then there was this guy standing. And actually I have a better reference that I need to use. Documents, projects, art packs, Jump and Shoot Man, this one here. This had some extra animations that I didn't wind up using. Where it had these two animations, which were the idle animations. So I just want to make this where if you look at this at like a high level, it sort of makes sense what's going on. And then I want to leave this as is. And all right, I'm gonna continue to clean up this art pack, but basically what I wanted to do is just get this to where we have all of the basic animations that we need in the game. Like here, I can move this stuff up. Wonder if there's anything I didn't... Oh, wait, I wanted these two together. Yeah, that's fine. We can move this over here. Alright, so that's the goal, is to get all the sprites into this thing here. Image, crop. I think what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to pull out all of these. So I don't really have a system in place right now for doing auto tiling. My plan is to get auto tiling to work, but there's some challenges that I need to figure out. One of which is the auto tiling system I have currently works for 16 by 16 tiles, and it's too complicated. And I don't know if anyone's going to also use like set this up the way that I think. So I might just let's pull that out. And then let's put the player stuff there instead. Right, and what I wanted to do with the player at least is he's going to be, we're going to use this black value. Because that's how he looks in the game. I have a palette swap that changes it, but we're going to leave it like this for right now. What I'm trying to do is get all the artwork to be exactly how it looked in the game. Like all of this stuff, I believe because I set this dark as the excuse me, I set this dark gray as the background color. So what we're going to do is let's pull all this out, and we're going to copy it and paste it back down, and then we're just going to perform the palette swap here. So this way they all have like this nice dark outline to them, that this dark color becomes the background, and everything else should be pretty straightforward. So the other thing I want to do is bring in the palette. So basically, the reason I have the palette here is because that if you need to do some tile map stuff, you can have these as solid colors just to use in order to create the tile map. And let's just move some of this stuff over and in. We don't need this anymore. I'm going to merge this all down. And all I'm trying to figure out is, like, should I put the player as one strip in order to simplify this? Let's cut this out. So I can have, like, a row at the top for sprites and then a row at the bottom for tiles. Do. 3. So we do idle animations, walk animations, jump animations. Did I lose the... Ugh, I lost the stupid palette, and I need to just copy these things out as their own layers. All right, perfect. Pixel art. I do like doing pixel art. Even though I didn't draw any of this. This is all Andrew. 2D heroes. Alright, this. Alright, we got the health bar, energy. What I wanted to do was things like this platform. Oh, you know what we could put here? We'll put this here. Do. All right, I think that is good. And then all we need to do now is we need to start moving over this tile area stuff below, and that will give us all the tiles that we need. So there was one thing that I noticed that was weird. Well, I was setting it up by... that's fine. Okay, I see what I had some like hacky things in here to get the tiles to work correctly. But we don't really need to worry about that. Like there's multiple platforms with at different positions. So we only need like one of these. I had set up. I didn't really figure out a good workflow for tiled until like later on into the game jam, and it really slowed me down a lot. Now I sort of know what I would do, but I'd wished I had figured that out a little bit sooner. So we'll do this piece and this piece here. So basically what there is there's different backgrounds that I allowed. Either this had this like sort of tile thing, which is part of this. These are corner pieces. This just let the background show through, and this had white. In fact, the engine's going to delete that, but that's fine. We'll let the engine optimize where it needs to. This guy can just come in here. You can move over this stuff. I never wound up using this, but we'll leave it in as is. Good. We'll delete this and put this here. We actually only need this and this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to repiece all this together. This isn't going to be very complicated to do. These, like, I had to like offset the tiles because I was doing 16 by 16. There you go. You can just have my email. Doesn't matter. All right. So this one I don't need to worry about. This I do need. I'll figure out where to put that in a minute. I'm just trying to make sure I got all the pieces that I really need. It's tough sometimes to eyeball this. So, like, we could... Damn it. Like, I'm debating whether I want to put in the auto tiles. If I put the auto tiles in, are we going to have enough room? No. Alright, I'll make the auto tiles a separate thing. Alright, so now all I got to do is just sort of get... Now, what would be really awesome is if I can get this to 128. I don't think Jump and Shoot Man's going to fit in that. Because if I can get it to 128 by 128, I could actually... If I got it to 128 by 128, what would happen is that it would fit in a page of memory for Pixel Vision 8. I wonder... I wonder if it's worth the effort. It would be nice to have this more optimized, that's for sure. I guess there's no way I could, I guess there's no way I can break this down a little bit better. So in essence, what would have to happen is that this would come, whoops. This would, whoops, what the hell's going on? This would come here. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. There's some little optimizations I could do up front. Like one of the things is that if I actually did these if I did this as 128 wide, what I would wind up gaining is the ability to tell Pixel Vision 8 to not ignore empties, and then you could just see it a little bit better. But it's like right now, what happens is like when Pixel Vision 8 comes in and it loads it up, you just sort of see like all this crap, right? And the problem is that it's really hard to tell what sprites look like. And one of the things I was thinking of is like when I teach people how to build stuff with this, I want it to be visually easy to understand before you start getting into the advanced stuff with like how these old 8-bit systems used to like break down memory. Because basically I have roughly 2 pages of memory, but I would... All right, height 256, 5, 12. This is like one thing I've struggled with a lot with sort of packing up all this artwork, is trying to figure out how to get it to... How to just like lay it out in a way that people would be okay seeing and like working with. All right, I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. Yeah, so there's 2 ways we could do this, right? Like if I clean up the sprites like this, it's going to look a lot better as a it's going to look a lot better for I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like I'm just rambling now. That's what I do when I'm like I have like a million things going on in my head that I'm trying to figure out. So part of the tooling that I wrote was that I'm also able to take all of this mess of sprites, and if you output each one as an individual sprite, the engine will like look at what it loads into memory and give you back like a Lua array that has all the IDs. So the layout isn't terribly important. It just sort of helps. So the one thing I've just learned over the years of doing all these tutorials and working with developers is that it makes all the difference in the world to, if you're just getting started, to just like see what the way things are laid out and like be able to visualize it a little bit better, especially if you're not used to building games like this. And then like it's just about making it as easy as possible for people getting started. And that's a lot of what my job in many roles is to help developers make games, right? So like already you can see like it just by visualizing it this way, it looks a lot cleaner. There's some other things we could do here too. I mean, I spend way too much of my time really organizing this kind of stuff because it's so important that I take pride in the fact that like I've taught so many people how to make games, and obsessing over these details is critical to teaching other people. If I was building this on my own, I mean, you saw the file when I first started, like everything looked like shit. It was like all over the place. Like for my own stuff, like I don't really care. Just trying to think if there's anything else I could split up here that would work. See, I'm already feeling like a lot better about the way that this is laid out. Because now, all right, if you're new and you come and you take a look at this, you're like, oh, I can sort of see where the sprites are. This visually makes a lot of sense. And it's not going to be perfect every time, but at least I can get it sort of close, right? So like I could break up this platform to fit there. I don't know if I technically would want to do that, but it would work. Like here I just need these two things. I've also gotten like really good at being able to look at sprites and see how they need to be cut up. I wish I'd moved that correctly, but there we go. So much cleaner. So, all right, so watch this now. So now if we come in here and we image crop and we save it, the engine's going to do a little bit of a better job of piecing all this stuff together. Now, there's still like a lot of gaps, right? And there are several ways that we could handle this. I just want to see real quick. So I could tell Pixel Vision 8, like let's take a look here in the in this project that I'm working on, workspace, sandbox. data, if we came in here and we went into the sprite chip and we set, I believe, unique to false. And save it, and then we reload it into this. You'll see that now everything is everything has been laid out. The colors are wrong. I'm going to fix the colors. That's not a big deal. I just need to change the palette that Andrew had to something else. But okay, as you can see here, it's now a lot cleaner. And this is what I wanted to get, is that when somebody builds their game for the first time, that it automatically sort of brings in sprites like this. So now you can go through and you can just sort of visualize what's actually happening. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can't really test just because of the way that it looks, but it's fine. All right, cool. I'm much happier with this now. I feel like this solves a lot of the problems that I was having before with the layout. The outlines are where I want them to be. And what I just need to do now is, so let's save this, and we're going to pull up the default. There's a default color map. Oh, cool. Photoshop is screwing up again. Oh, I got to quit Photoshop and restart it because it's a tool today. All right, so the goal is we're just going to realign the colors. We're going to remap the colors, and all I need to do is just sample each of these. I think it was that gray was the only one that was off. Whoops. And then that white should be white. I'm pretty sure it's a flat white. Flat white. Perfect. All right. So that goes to the Game Boy Color space. All right. So we save this, and now if we come back into the game creator, we should see all the sprites exactly how they should be. The only other thing I was thinking of doing was bringing over the fonts. Where was... there was a default font and a small font. And what I want to do is create a new font that matches the two of them together. Actually, we're going to make this all part of the default font. Oh, I can't. So, all right, in this case, what we're going to do is I'm going to delete, we don't need, oops. We don't need any of these other characters. We're just going to focus on regular letters. And then here, we'll leave this as is. So did I move, where did I put these? In the sandbox, right? All right, default font. No, I want to, I don't want to save this here. I want to go into here and where's our current project? Here we are. So here's our default font. Whoops. Oh, son of a... We'll save this as the default font. Maybe I'll go back in and fix some of these characters, but what I want to do is I want to save this as a new font. Save as bold. Jump in shoot man bold font. And what did I save that as? No. I want to say this as an image. It's a PNG. So this should be jump in shoot man bold. Then here we'll save this out as jump and shoot man small font. And close this. And I just need to make sure that the fonts are at the right color mapping, but this should work fine. Let's see, we're gonna open up we'll open up these two fonts. And I'm going to remove all these other characters that we don't need. I mean, since these old Nintendo games, and like especially like Game Boy games, had very, very limited memory, they didn't really have full font sets like this. Like they just had the very basic of what they needed. And I don't even know, honestly. Oh, right, I use this text for high score stuff. So, what my gut was telling me was that I should just really combine the small font with this large bold font. But the problem was the numbers. And in fact, I might actually still do that. So, like, what you would do is you'd say jump and shoot man. Well, no, we'll leave it as two separate fonts. All I got to do now is just make sure that that this gray is the right gray, which should be this. And we should be good to go. So now we're going to save this. We'll save this font. And we're going to come back in here and we're going to rebuild it. And now what you'll see is we're still getting this default font in here. There's not really much we could do about that. I mean, unless we delete that default font. So what I want to do is if we went in and I'm trying to think through my head like how I would teach someone how to do this. So like my theory would be like, all right, well, nothing's going to work there. It's silly. All right, when you come into the game, you're going to copy over this art pack. And if you look at the sprites, you're going to see, hey, we have all these sprites, but it looks like we're missing sprites. So the first thing I can teach you about is how memory works on these systems by saying like, all right, well, let's give the game a little bit more memory. So we'll go into data and we'll unlock the specs and we'll go to the sprite pages and we're going to set this to 5. And hit save, and then go back into the sprites, and you now see as we go through the different pages of memory, oh, we only need 3 pages of memory. Look at that. So I would tell you like, all right, go in and, whoops, I want to go to data. Go in here and set this to 3 and hit save. And now if you came back in, you would see, all right, well now we have 3 pages of memory because we have all these fonts. And then now you have 3 different fonts to choose from in your game. And then this one would be for like high score stuff. This is for like little messages. And then this is for just regular text if you needed it. All right, I think this is looking good. I think pretty much this is the entire sprite pack. What I want to make sure is that there weren't other sprites that I wanted to bring in. Now, I didn't really have much memory left, but I want to just look at the reference. That's our sprite sheet. Where actually what I can do is, just so I keep track of this, this is 128, 120, right, so we need to make this 256. And then this way I can just visually see that there is more space. Where's our original sprites? Is there anything else that I wanted to bring over that I liked in this game? Nothing is standing out that I feel like I would need to bring over. I did notice something that I would want to clean up visually here. Like I would want to put this on top of this and make this one whole set, because it's bothering me that I can't make this platform look like that. And then just trying to see what I could squeeze into here. Where's the break? 128. So that's page 1. And this is page 2. Like technically these two, this is all I really need here to simplify this, so we can get rid of these. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to do this for a little bit longer, and then we're going to start building out some code. But I think that it's important. Like this kind of stuff is important because I say it is. We'll leave it at that. What the... Sometimes Photoshop likes to be an annoying pain in my butt. I'm doing this for a very specific reason. What I'm trying to get to is I want this to be compressed and as tightly packed as possible, but in a way that doesn't... that still looks clear as to what's going on. All right, so that gives me a little bit more wiggle room for extra stuff. Oh, I need to put these guys in, so I guess I don't have that much extra room. Tetris time. Yeah, basically. All right, I don't. This isn't getting me anywhere that I want to be. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything like little that I could add that would be worthwhile into this art pack. I really would like to get these two guys in. They were on my list to originally bring over. And then, was there any like little extra things that I would need here? Oh. I need a spike that goes the other way. Transform, flip, horizontal. Shoot. I just realized that, no, do they tile correctly? Yeah, perfect. All right. That works. I just don't want this to be, like, I want these guys to be here. I need to pull out this for a second. No. Put that there. Hold on, I gotta, is everything safe to bring down? All right. Game Boy Sprite style is the best. It is. Packing artwork in a way that people can actually use and like is also equally fun. All right, is there anything else that I wanted to bring over here that looks good? Did I bring the bullets over? I have all the bullets. I have this platform thing. I think we're good to go. I don't really know if I want to bring anything else over. I want to take this guy though for sure, and whoops, I want to just give him an outline. All right, we're gonna do this for the next, I don't know, whatever, how much left is in my Pomodoro, next 5 minutes, and then we're gonna move on and start writing some code. If you're just tuning in, I'm just taking all the artwork from my Ludum Dare game and just cleaning it up so that it's it just looks a little bit easier to follow on the sprite sheet. I wonder, does this thing fit in a single? No. Ah, but you fit. You fit. Yeah, but that's not going to work very well. There's a fine balance between like trying to save sprites and making it easy to animate it without having to like drive yourself nuts. We can get rid of this. Photoshop, like today you're killing me with the keyboard shortcuts. Is there anything that's like 3 across? So I can fit a full thing here. And a full sprite here. Uh-oh, I feel like I cut out some, shoot. I lost something here. Photoshop, stop it. Oh my God, Photoshop's just completely corrupt. Look at this crap. Just another day with Photoshop. Yeah, it's cool, Photoshop. Don't worry. I'll just restart every time I open a file. Why not? Adobe is like... No, stop it. Okay, I hit delete. I thought it like got corrupted again. I was gonna like freak out. $128. That's the breakdown for the sprites, and I'm missing. I'm missing this. I don't think I really mind if I like wrap something like that, like how I'm doing the title. At least it's still sort of easy to see. What I want to make consistent is I could say, okay, go to this sprite, and this is like I could point out a little bit clearer which sprites are which. All right. What else do I need to bring over? Is there anything else that I'm missing here? All right, come on, Photoshop. We're gonna open up a file now, and let's see if you can handle this mundane task. I have some button switches. Let's make sure I got all the player animations. I got the walking, running. I got the 2 idle animations. I have the 3 walking animations. I have the jump. I have the fall. I have the slide and the climb. I have the 1-up player. Just looking to see if there's any other tiles that I would do. Maybe like bring this one over. I mean, I could break this thing up here. Just as like generic background. And then I can actually bring over some extra stuff. Maybe I put this here. Right, so these are just like background decoration stuff. And all right, come on, final round. What do we want to bring over? What else do I feel like is missing from the game? I don't think I want that cannon. I pulled that out of like a Mario thing, a Mario art pack that I have. Could bring over the continue. But I have the other text for that. I'm not too... That one's not on my list. I got these. I got the spikes. Ah, the doors. That's what I wanted to get in. It's not a Mega Man game unless you have doors. All right, I think we're good to go. I don't know if there's much more. I want to do one little cleanup thing where I move this up to here. This here, I wanted to move this up to here. This over to here. This here. All right, so I have one sprite. I have 2.5 sprites left. Let's bring over this tile, which looks kind of cool. Where's the selection tool? Get rid of continuous, and let's just make this black and make that transparent. Bring over this tile. And is there any last one little thing that I want to bring over? Let's just change the whole thing to be black. Whoops. And I think that's it. I'm not gonna like sit here and, I mean, there are all kinds of stupid ways I could cram more crap into here. Like, I got a space there, and I got 2 here and 2 here. Like, all right, I've hit my limit. I think we have enough stuff in here that makes a compelling little art pack for doing a Mega Man game. I need to talk to Andrew about creating new. I need to talk to Andrew about creating new. I want some new bad guys. I don't like this bad guy. He just looks terrible. And it's not Andrew's fault. I mean, he just threw something together. I think we like recycled it from a lot of his old artwork. All right, I think we're good to go. Cool. Let's do this. We're gonna we're gonna come here. We're gonna save this thing down. And now if we come back into the game creator and take a look, everything should be nice and clean. Where we have on page 1, we have all of our characters. Page 2, we have our enemies and our tiles. And on page 3 would just be fonts. And I think that's good. Is there anything else that I need to do in here? I don't think so. Where is this project? I have this font, I have this font. I have the references, sound, save, info. All right, cool. I'm going to turn this into an art pack, and we're going to move on with our life. So let's go into data. We'll lock down this specs, and we're going to call this Jump and Shoot Man Art Pack. And let's save it as an art pack and hit save. And then when we quit, we should be good to go. So now in order to test out that this works, before I close out this Pomodoro, let's just do Jump and Shoot Man Art Pack. All right, we'll come back here, and I'm going to create a new project, and we're just going to see that this... Oh, crap. Did I not save it? Let's make sure that everything's saved correctly. Good. Our artwork works. Good. There's no tile map. I think what I would do in the tile map is I would probably save out a reference to how all this stuff works. Maybe we can do that next. Let's we'll test out all the tiles and make sure that the tile map outputs the way that it should. All right, just for shits and giggles, let's go back here, and we're going to archive this, and then I just want to take a quick break. All right, let's back up this folder. We're going to create a new project from scratch. So let's take a Game Boy project and create the new Game Boy project. We'll run this. And as you can see, the project builds. And the only artwork we have in here is a font, but it's empty. Now, if I go back into my games and look at the Jump and Shoot Man art pack, I can click import. And I can now bring in... what do I want to bring in? I'll import this font. I'll import this font. We'll bring over the data file, and we'll bring over the sprites. And there was no code. So now if we come back in and we run, everything should work. But if we look at our sprites, we now have our sprite folder. We now have our sprites. And we have our colors and everything else is good. Cool. All right, I like the way that this works. I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick break. Let me add a, well, let's close this out. We've created an art pack. Okay, you know, when we do we'll do the tile map stuff next, and that'll be the random map generation stuff. So let's submit this, and I'm gonna be back in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes or so. So break. Back at, how about this? Let's do back at, what is it, 10? Let's just do 10, we'll do 10:15 a.m. I should be back before then, but we'll just, we'll make it easy. I want to go have a snack real quick, and then all right, cool. So I shall return, and then we will we'll start working on the level stuff. All right, I'm back. Should have gotten more water. All right, so the next part of my master plan is to not do that. Why didn't my thing go on? There we go. All right, so the next part of my plan is to create levels. So what I wanted to do was, this one's gonna be a little bit more complicated. Sandbox. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is leave these, leave this tile map as is, and just output that as the reference tile map for the game. I had some like loftier goals of trying to figure out, like wanting to set this up to teach more about level design, but I don't think it really matters. I think the only thing that I would do is probably compress the tile map a little bit more. Nah, you know, we'll just leave it as is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's go here and let's save this. You know, we're just going to copy the whole thing over. So there should be tile map, color offsets, and flags. Trying to find a new song. New song to listen to. All right, so I think we're gonna make this part of the art pack too. So if we reload this up, and I think if we play it, you're not gonna see anything, which is fine. If we go and we look at the tile map, oh, we're not seeing anything. Oh yeah, I know why. None of the tiles match up with what the tile map expects. So let's delete this. Move to trash. In fact, we're going to delete this, this, and this. And I'm going to open this back up in tiled. And we're going to output as images. All right, so let's export this as an image. Call this tile map PNG. Save. And then we'll save export as an image as tile map flags.png. And now if we come back in here, it will rebuild the tile map accordingly, or not. I think the problem also is that the gray is off. Let's go here. Sprite references, sprites. Are the flags working? All right, so the flags work. That's fine. It's just the sprites, and I can fix that. That's really easy. Again, I sort of changed the gray. So all we need to do here is come into one of these and just select all the colors and just make sure that they match up with what we're expecting here. So that was off. the white is fine, the black is fine, and this dark, you should find this dark gray. This one right here, and set that to this. It was like a subtle change, like off by like just a little bit, but that little change will make all the difference in the world. There we go. What else is screwed up here? I'm just going to paste this in to make sure that we get, that this matches up exactly like it should. So like in a case like this when, oh, I think what it is it needs, you know what it is? I think it needs the magenta background. I think I noticed that bug when I was working on, there's a bug in the tile map parser. There we go. There's a bug in the tile map parser where if it doesn't output with magenta, it doesn't work. So like right here, I'll save this with magenta. And it can find the mask. It's supposed to automatically do it for transparent. So that's just a bug. All right, everything else here is working fine. There we go. All right, so we'll save the background color, and that's going to output the tile map. Although I think that might have just broken. Oh shoot, that's the critical bug. Like right now, if I go into the flags, that's 13. It should actually be 14. Shit. All right, so there's two bugs I need to file real quick. Tile map editor shifts flags. Unsave. When saving a tile map in the editor, the color flags are shifted down a value. So flag 14 goes to 13, and I need to fix that. That's a pretty annoying critical bug. There was one other bug that I noticed too, which was if I come in here and let's refresh this and take a look. So I want to take a screenshot of this. Workspace, screenshots. Generally, I try to always file an image with it so I can just remember what the hell is going on when I file a bug. And I use this for like all my projects. I always have like a bug list or a task list. If it's not like in GitHub like it is here, I'll just do it on my own. But let's see, what we want to fix is tile map parser breaks when background of image is not set to mask color. Need to make sure that tile map importer looks for mask or transparent for parsing sprite data. All right, those are two critical bugs that sort of slip through that I need to make sure. I don't for this round, I don't really have many critical bugs. I have some nice like things I'd like to do, but these two are probably the only two critical bugs. Everything else are just like little bugs, and that's a good sign. Like it's taking me, it says like taking me about like 2.5 years to get Pixel Vision 8 to the point where I can actually like build stuff with it and not like worry about like bugs or have to use like, it's built in Unity. It's a C# library, but it's built on top of Unity to just do the cross compiling stuff. And let's export save image as tilemap flags. It's saved in it's built in Unity, and it's what I wind up used to have to do is I'd have to actually have Unity open the whole time so I can actually debug and fix stuff. So I'd be building a game and then also like patching the editor at the same time, which is not much fun. But now I can actually like build full games, and there's very, very, very minor little bugs. I was able to work around all the bugs during Ludum Dare. All right, so I think for this example, we can make the tile map a little smaller. What I wanted to see was if we played this, it's going to just display that stuff, which is fine. For right now, I'm going to leave the tile map as is. All I want to do is change the height and the width of the tile map. So let's open up the tile map image here, and let's see. It is calculator 1424 divided by 8, which is 178. So 178 by 496 divided by 8 is 62. And we'll save that. And now that just makes, this will just make sure that we have enough memory for the width of the tile map, and that we end sort of down here at the bottom. What I'm thinking in my head is that these art packs are going to be like starters for... They're going to be starters that give you everything you need to basically build out, like in this case, a little Mega Man game. And then from there, if you want to use the artwork on your own, you can use the artwork on your own. That's fine. But so what I'm trying to think of is like doing each of these starter packs as self-contained lessons. And it's like, all right, today we're going to build Mega Man. Next, we're going to build Mario, or we're going to build Metroid, and do some stuff like that. Like the Metroid one won't be this randomly generated map stuff. I'd probably just do like a full map and talk about like unlocking stuff. And I have some ideas for it. My goal for the rest of the year is just to build out these sort of training tutorials for building old 8-bit games. That's why I built Pixel Vision 8, was to teach people how to make retro games. All right, cool. So this works out really well. I don't need to compress the tile map. Let's see. I finally, like for the first time in a long time since I've been working on this, so I feel like this is like a complete art pack now. So okay, cool. Let's go ahead and let's archive this. So we save it back to the main project folder. Mega Man. No, I don't think I'm going to do Mega Man. Sorry, Pac-Man. I don't think I'm going to do a Pac-Man game. These are all going to be like the art packs that I have that Andrew and I have been building out are... we have a Dragon Warrior, which I really want to build out. We have Jump and Shoot Man. Well, Dragon Sweeper. I use this in one of my own games. We also have... so Lewis created a really great art pack, which is just straight artwork. But really captures it. Looks like a Nintendo game. He did a really awesome job on that, and that's already built in. We have Super Pipe Bros, which is a Mario style game. I have Reaper Boy, which I'm probably going to clean up too. That's my own game that I worked with Cast Pixel on. We have Super Pipe Bros. Did I not just do that? All right, I'm just like repeating myself. Upgrade Droid, which is a Metroid type game. We have a Zelda thing, which I called like the Legend of Rogue, but we haven't really cleaned this up, and I don't think it's complete. I use some of the artwork for demos and stuff, but it's not really fully baked. And yeah, cool. So that's sort of what we have. There's also I'm also working on this Ness zombie runner thing too, which is one of the built-in demos now, where each of these are just it's going to be an endless runner, sort of like this game, but with zombies. It's a remake, a demake of one of my old games. All right, so art pack works. We're good to go. I think the next step is I want to start moving over the code that allows you to. That basically allows you to build out randomly generated levels. So let's close out of this. Don't save. And we don't need Photoshop open anymore right now. We don't need tiled open. Let's save this out. And I just want to compress this. I'm going to call this Jump and Shoot Man Art Pack V1. And I've already archived it, but before I go and delete this folder, I just want to make sure that everything is backed up correctly. So we can close this out. Close this out. This is our reference code that we're going to pull out, and let's see what it takes for us to actually build out a very basic random map generator. Now, I already have the code, so this is going to be like sort of smoke and mirrors. It's not like I'm really reinventing the wheel here, but we'll keep this project as is. I'm going to open it back up. And what I actually was thinking of doing was, I'm going to save this. I'm going to compress this one at a time. But I'm going to call this Jump and Shoot Man Step 1. So Step 1 would basically be these beginning. So I'm going to sort of, as I do this, I'm going to walk you through how I organize myself to do tutorials. So I'll basically, in this case, I'm going to save a snapshot of this project, and we'll leave this as Step 1. Now, I'm going to go into the code here, and well, let's just leave this for right now. I want to create a new file, and we're going to save this as code, and I don't remember what I named it previously. We're going to call this random map generator. Actually, what we're going to call this is endless map generator. And we're going to try to spell things correctly. Endless map generator. Perfect. And let's make this a Lua file. .lua. And all I'm going to do here, I think this one should be pretty clean. I was very happy with the way that this turned out. So we're just going to paste this in. And basically what'll happen is when I teach you how to build this, I'll walk you through step by step how to create all this stuff. Excuse me, and then I'll go and add all the templates and everything. The way that the map works, actually, if I open up, I will go back into Photoshop. If we go back here and look at the resources, maybe we'll clean this up real quick while we have like another minute, and then we'll start getting the code to work. So I wrote this thing here that is basically, I'm going to set this to black as the background. This is the tile map template matrix. And the idea behind the matrix is that each one of these tile maps winds up becoming a template or a piece of a template. So on the left-hand side, what you have is the actual template. So I don't think I'll start organizing it, but what I did was that each map piece has a little number in it. And what we do is we can say, all right, well, tile map 1, since this edge is at the top and the bottom, it matches up with the left-hand side of 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. Right? And we go through and we sort of map this out, and then what winds up happening if we look in the code is that if we look at template 1, it has next, and it shows you the different pieces that winds up being part of it. And this is like, there's not a lot of magic behind how this how the tile map system works. All that you need to know is that what the last edge and the beginning edge is. Now, I had all kinds of crazy ideas during the game jam of how I could automate this. And what we could do is we could write a little algorithm that when it goes through, you define all of the tile maps and it reads the end and beginning pieces of each tile map and then creates an array for you automatically. That's actually not a bad little thing. Maybe we'll focus on tile map stuff today. Maybe we'll write a little thing that does that. That'd be kind of cool. So this way you don't have to really worry about this. You can just build your own tile map edges, and now that would be awesome. That'd be really cool. Because then you could build whatever the hell you want, and it would automatically, as long as you define where the template is, it would read it. All right, I like that. It shouldn't be too hard to build. I like little challenges. I spent so much time manually trying to do this. It was like a total time sink. As I sit here and clean it. I find this therapeutic, by the way. Like, moving pixels around and organizing stuff. Ask Chris Bradford. I don't get that right. Oh, I think I get that reference. Maybe? All right, so I'm going to clean this up only because I want to use it as a reference in the documentation to sort of show how all these things link together. Do. So let's see. Do I really want to keep doing this for much longer? Yeah, let me just finish up this image. It makes for a pretty compelling image, especially when I have to like sit there and explain sort of how all these work together. But I'm sort of losing my patience. I get bored very easily. It's the ADD. In the back of my head, though, I'm trying to think of like how would we analyze each of the templates? I guess we just go through and we could take we could read each of the tiles from the beginning and the end, and then look for we would give it an ID. So like A, B, C, D, and then it would look for, as it created those templates, it would create an array. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I think we're going to try to build that next. Why am I still doing this? I don't know. We should always complete a task when we start it. How about this? We're going to, we'll end our Pomodoro. We're working on the random map generation code. I think that would work out well, but I think if I can get the, if I can finish up and clean up the random map generation code today, and then tomorrow I'll do the entities and spawning and basic collision stuff, that would be good. Do. Almost done. See, I'm glad I stuck with it. Makes me feel good, like I accomplished something today. All right, so that's our matrix that shows off how to do this. What we'll probably figure out how to do is we'll just get this up and running. We'll see if this like endlessly builds stuff. And then once we get that going, we'll rip out the code that actually handles spawning and well, we're going to take out the spawning stuff, and then we're going to well, let's just build. Enough talking, more building. All right, so this is the endless map generation code. The only thing I wanted to see from here was in this code, there's something here that I do. Draw tile map. I just want to make sure I get the code over that updates the tile map. Update tile map buffer. So there's one thing here called copy tile data. There's one trigger method here called update tile map buffer. And that's sort of what we use. And what I'm thinking is that this would actually live inside of the update loop in the main game, so that we can make this code incredibly generic, and it doesn't need to know anything else about it. What I want to do is I want to break out this process. There's copy tile data. Copy tile data. All right, let's take a look at this, bringing this in. So in our code, what we're going to do is do script, load script code endless map generator. And on update, we're just going to call this and we're going to come up with a local speed local scroll position equals scroll position. I'm going to get rid of all this other crap that we don't need here. Draw map. So we do scroll position x equals scroll position x plus speed multiplied by time delta. And then we'll pass in the scroll position. We'll do the time delta here, and we should have everything we need to get this running. Endless map generator. Endless code. Endless map generator 327. Attempt to call a nil value. 327. Right. 3, 2, 7. Add score. Right. We don't need this. And then we got to get rid of all this stuff here too. So we don't need process tiles. Process tile callback. And what we'll do here is if process tile callback All right, what I wanted to do is create a callback method here. So basically, whenever we call this, it'll pass in this callback, and as it goes through, this callback will be independent of the rest of the tile map stuff. Sorry. What I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to get is that this code is a little bit more reusable. So I want this to just be simply code that manages, all it needs to know is you define the templates, and then it will go through, and once you define templates, it'll automatically go through and work on copying the data for each turn for you. So update map buffer. All right, let's give this a try and see if it works. Hopefully this should work now. Why is it not increasing the scroll position? Scroll position plus speed multiplied by time. What am I missing from the original game? Oh, I'm not updating the scroll position. All right, so basically what we're doing is we're going to, I can close this out. So what we're going to do is on update, we're going to take the current scroll position X, and we're going to add the speed multiplied by the time delta. This is how we make sure that we get, sort of if we drop frames or not, we're going to make sure that we get, we get this to actually scroll at the right frame rate. And then our scroll position, we're going to update the scroll position so the tile map actually moves. And then once we do that, we're going to tell the, we're going to update the map buffer. And once I get this working, I'll sort of walk you through how this works. Okay. Why is this not like moving? Oops. Print scroll position X. Is 50 just too slow? What the hell is going on here? By the way, this is the wrong, I'm tailing the wrong file. V08.1 workspace temp log text file 4. Okay. That was really weird. Why does 50 not work? All right, I have no clue what the hell is going on here. Oh, I know why. I know why. Equals The problem is that the scroll position is an integer, right? And we need to keep track of it as a float. So because of that, we need to simply increase it here and then pass it back in. And let's ignore this. That should fix everything. That was annoying. There we go. All right, so what we're missing right now is... where's our start scroll position in this game? 24. This is like the big problem I have between Pixel Vision 8 and, well, between the C# layer and the Lua layer. Basically, the difference between like floats and ints, it's not very clear. So the engine, the game engine itself doesn't understand floats because it's an 8-bit system. So you have to sort of work around that limitation, line 34. But Lua is not a 8-bit system, so it deals with math differently. 34. Whoops. I wrote 8 like an idiot. There we go. All right, so now it's going to scroll. That flicker in the beginning was weird, but all right. All right, so now it's scrolling. But you don't really see anything. This is what we call the update map buffer. And now it's just going to keep drawing out different sections of the tile map, basically indefinitely. We also want to go ahead and change the background color to 1. There we go. So cool. When it works, it's like really, really great. Like, and I feel like there's a lot that I could do to compress the tile map. So if we wanted to add like even more templates and stuff to it, we could. Um, I think I do want to do that. I think I want to. I think I want to come in here in this tile map and really work on like each template is really 112 tall. And if we did this, we would be able to basically like pack in even more templates and stuff. And I think if we're going to write this system now where if we're going to write the system where it automatically goes through and detects the edge pieces, we should optimize this. So let's do this. We're going to start piece by piece and try to clean this up. Now, I want to leave a buffer at the top. And there's a reason why. This buffer at the top is going to be a place where we're going to be able to draw HUD data and stuff like that. So we're going to move this up 2 tiles. And now if we come back into here and we refresh this, we'll see this is moved up too high, but what we need to do is we need to set this to 0. Well, 2 tiles was only 16, right? So let's move it down 16 or 0. I need to take a screenshot. I just want to do the math real quick because the what we need to make sure is that the top HUD area works. So since I've already built the game, I know sort of what I'm going for. There's a HUD area that's 2 at the bottom. What we should do is move this up 1 more. So we'll have a place to draw at the top and we'll have a place to draw at the bottom. And we're going to do some special sampling so that the so we split the screen. The Nintendo, when it drew HUDs, it didn't have enough sprites to overlay a HUD on top of the background layer. So what it wound up doing was it drew it into its separate part of the tile map, and then it copied that, and then so the Nintendo really, it renders down from the top all the way down per scan line, right? So what we do is we say, okay, when you get to this part, split the screen and then just draw this part instead in a certain position. And Pixel Vision 8 has some basic support for that. All right, so we've moved this now up. And we're going to have to make sure that we remap. You see how now the template is down a little bit? We're going to we're gonna have to adjust the template. So what we'll do is in here in the map generator, we're gonna change the destination offset, and we're gonna change its Y to 0. -1. Whoa, that's weird. Y is destination offset off by 1. $5 it says it has to deal with the destination offset Y. I think it has to deal with the I'm getting rid of this process code. We'll pull that in later. Basically, the destination offset should be set to 0. So I just got to figure out where the Y value is being used and change that. Next Y plus 1. All right. Once we copy over the tile, then we go to the next Y. All right, so the next Y will be here for the destination offset. And then what we do is we simply take the next Y value and increment it by 1. Minus 1. What is going on here? Source, tile, next Y, process the tile, next Y plus 1, plus I. Destination offset. All right, what I want to do is set the now it should be this minus 1 and then go from there. I don't know why that is like that. The only thing I could say is if we set destination Y and instead went back here and said plus. No, it needs to be minus 1. That's really weird. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do destination offset minus 1? Am I missing something somewhere else? Next Y. I guess it's because what we want to do is go up 1 tile, but destination X is 20. Huh. I'm just going to write in it into Y, this is 1. That should be 0. I gotta walk through this real quick and see what the hell I'm doing here. Here's I. Because in essence, what really should happen is destination offset plus I, that should be the value. Like, I shouldn't have to do this at all. But it's down by 1. I think what's happening is the source offset 23. There we go. That was the problem. Nope. All right, we're gonna fix this. It has something to do with the fact of the way that I'm doing the tile stuff. Like if I come back in here and I have to just move all the tiles around. Like we set the background color to 0. That's off by 1. All right, and then everything is fine. Okay, we're gonna fix that next. Like a big part of what I want to do is get this code cleaned up, and I want to make sure that there's no bugs. All right, so let's come in here, and what we're gonna do is move. First off, I only want to copy. Let's go here. 192. I just want to see where the sizing is. So 192 divided by 8 should be 24. So the start Y position for this template for the first template should be 24. So this is part of the problem. This should be 24 right now. And what I want to do is let's put this in debug mode by simply setting the next template to 1 every time and running this. All right, why is the first one not shift? Talk about like little bugs. So that's shifted down and that goes all the way back up. And then after that, everything seems to be fine. So the first time that this runs, we're not getting the right template. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to change this to template width -1. Which calculates when we need to pull a new level out. So that goes down by 1, up the second time. All right. In my head, I'm trying to fix 2 bugs at the same time now. I want to see if the first level isn't always number 1. Because I don't think this is fixing the problem. Nope, that just broke. Nope. All right. We just gotta. I thought that this code was pretty solid, but apparently it's not. And I've noticed some weird little bugs too when I was running it. So let's just. Let's just get this working. I'm just gonna move the tile map templates where they need to be, and then we're going to redo this from scratch. All right, so what I did was I moved the tile maps up. Because watch, when I compress all this stuff, we're going to wind up with, I think we're going to wind up with like a whole other row that we could do of maps, of map templates, which would be great. Yeah, look at this. A whole other row could be fit in. Compression, it's amazing. I also want to bring all of these in more. And then this will be just a little bit tighter. I hate when Photoshop does that. Used to be like I feel like you should be able to just hold down Alt to remove the selection, but not delete the item under it. All right, not bad. No. No, don't do that. All right, I think the last thing I want to do is, right, let's make sure that every single thing is the same here on the same at the same coordinate space. All right. So the goal here is that we're basically copying a piece of the tile map. I'll put the mic up closer to me. I was standing. I needed to take a break. The create random map gen code. So what we're doing is we're taking a piece of tile map, we're copying it column by column to the off screen. So as the camera moves this way to the right, what we wind up happening is that we're taking like this row and we're pasting it here, and then it just keeps pasting it over and over again. And as we keep moving that, we're able to get the impression that this map just goes on forever. And this is, in honesty, like this is sort of how original Nintendo games worked. Their system was a little bit more complicated because their tile map memory was very small. They could only have 4 quadrants of the screen at one time, and 2 of those banks were mirrored. So what would happen is you wouldn't have very much room to go. Since I wanted to make this easy to sort of lay out, I basically created the full tile map. If you wanted to create this and program it like it was a real Nintendo, you could actually just make the tile map really small, like the 4 quadrant screens, and then copy stuff over and just use your tile map data as like an array, which is basically how it worked. Over time, I may come up with a system that does that for you automatically. There were some like weird limitations with the Nintendo. Like I think it was very difficult to do horizontal and vertical scrolling at the same time because of the way that the memory map worked. And I don't mirror any of the memory RAM. That was like, I don't really understand 100% why the Nintendo did that. But all right, so here we go. So we now have our template. What I want to do is should be 496 plus 204. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to leave a row. I'm going to leave an empty row so that when we write the tutorial, anyone could come in and they could just basically they could practice and build their own tile maps. I just want to crop this. Image crop. And what it really should do is image crop it like that. That's probably one other thing that I want to avoid doing is I don't want it to get out of sync. So the width will always remain the same. Technically, each of these templates should probably be like pasted together, but I'm not going to deal with that. Trying to think of the time map gets out of sync over time. I had this like bug that I can't really. I had this bug that I really couldn't figure out, and what I was thinking is that I'm wondering if the bug actually had something to do with the fact that the tile map, as I copy over the data, goes out of sync over time. That's an interesting theory. That's like... Like what, I'm trying to do the math in my head and see if... I'm trying to see if that was the problem. Maybe what was happening is that over time, when it was copying stuff across, it would... So what I'm thinking is this gap right here. But no, it shouldn't, because it's just going to copy this. Okay, I think... No. Alright, that might be the bug. But the size of... The size of this, the width of this tile map doesn't have anything to do with that. And we'll look into that later. Image crop. All right, so let's save this, and now we need to redo the math. So 128, calculator, 128 divided by 8 is 16. So what I'm thinking that would make this a lot easier is that all of the templates are within a certain... all of the templates are very specifically laid out, and we could probably automate how we calculate those templates. Like, the goal is, like, if I want to write a tutorial, the last thing I want to do is make people sit here and, like, write out all this stuff, right? Or if I'm teaching someone, like, this is obnoxious. What it really should be, though, is that you can... well, I don't know. Yeah, like, for each template, we could sort of calculate the ID of where it is in memory. My brain's thinking of how to simplify this. All right. First off, what I do know is that everything is broken right now. If I rerun this, this is just going to be like all kinds of broken. So what I want to figure out now is let's just focus on template 1. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all these other templates. And now the engine should only spawn one template, which is just out of space. All right. Now that we have everything sort of simplified, what we can do is the start position is going to be 0, and the row is going to be 16, which will be the top left of this template. Or it'll just ignore me. I think it has something to do with the second time it renders. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, this is nicely broken. Good job, Jesse. You did it, man. You took something that worked and you broke it. All right, 112. The width and the height of this is 160 by 112. 160 divided by 8, 112 divided by 8. Right now, I just want to make sure that we're getting the right... All right, so now the patterns are working correctly. What I want to make sure next is... Then we can figure out why the first one's so broken. An old saying my uncle used to say is, I broke, you gonna fix it? Yeah, I broke it. It's fine. What we got to do is we now got to get it to just render out at the right place. So the destination Y offset is 1. Forget the first example. Whatever this first one is just broken. The second one is now rendering at the correct place. So, I mean, this is how I debug. Like if you had been watching if you've been watching me build this, you'll see that whenever I hit one of these bug problems, I'll just like take a step back and I slowly work through the problem, unwinding the code until I find where the solution is. Let's get rid of these spawn stuff. Current template has spawned. We don't need any of this stuff. I'm going to get rid of this entity odds. And let's just focus on this for right now. So, all right, this appears to be rendering. Hold on, I just want to make sure that the floor is at the right place. We use the mouse as a ruler. All right, perfect. I wonder if we made this like, if we make this 64, it's only going to copy out a smaller part of the top. I don't know what this corruption is, so that's next on my list to try to figure out. Now, there's something else that I fixed in the engine. We don't need to draw... I got rid of this draw rec stuff. Now, let me put this back in for 1 second. No, we don't need this. Basically, we're gonna have to let the map run for a while. Let me speed up. Let me speed up the map. We're gonna make sure that I found this bug where basically it wouldn't properly clear the bottom tiles, which is what we might be seeing right now. But I'm not worried about that. All right, so we're not seeing that bug. All right, good. That's fixed. All right, so what we got to figure out right now is why the first template is broken and why we're pulling... oh, I see what's going on. What I want to do is... this is the border for where the tile map needs to end. We're sampling too much on the first frame. So let's move this down here because this becomes the full buffer for the screen. And we can get rid of this. Because technically what happens is that what we got to understand is that this right here is the Game Boy's resolution, 160 by 140. Now, we have an overscan, which allows us to crop the image by 8 on either side. So that's what you see. And what we want to make sure is that we're not sampling anything below there. So now, since our map templates are very specific, we're only going to focus on the map templates being the same height that we need them to be. Like in here, the height for the map template should only be 160 by 112. This becomes the HUD, this becomes the message area, and we're good to go. So now let's align the height, which is 144. So the height, well, this should stay the same. It should be fine. Now we won't get that. Oh, it helps if I save my changes. So we're not getting that trail along the bottom. All we need to do now is sort of fix the thing. But I just noticed something really weird. What the hell is going on? Oh, I need to move. $144. No. It should be. This should be fine. Why is this now? Source offset. What I'm trying to do. So I figured out what the first problem is. I just want to. I want to just check out this modulus and see what values we're getting here. Print modulus. I want to have the two things open at the same time. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I don't understand is why I messed up something with the modulus here, and I could figure this. I could fix this. This all had to do with the fact that we were starting at the different positions. So the first source offset should be 0. Right? Calculator. Well, it's actually going to be 16. So, and let's fix the math here. So 160 divided by 8 is 20. 2 divided by 8 is 14. All right, we should be getting a little bit closer now. Now I just got to fix a few things. All right, so now once this is done, now everything is at the right line. So all we got to do is fix the initial copying over of the tile map data. So that's why I wanted to look at modulus. Where was it when we reset? The first modulus should be 0. Oh, it's still running. So right, so when source X modulus 0, we basically go through and we pick a new template. Right, so what we're going to do is, let's slow this down even more, and I want to do print new template. And then we're just going to go through all the calculations and just make sure that the calculations make sense. So my gut's telling me that there is not enough buffer here. So let's save this, and now that'll fix the first place where we had a gap in between the tiles. And then next, we need to fix this alignment. So let's go in here and take a look at this logic so far. So first off, source offset. Well, I'll go back through and comment this in later. You guys don't need to sit here and watch me comment stuff. Oh yeah, the I love Alez who's here. He's my unofficial spokesperson. As you can see, he just posted a link there. Yeah, I'm using a custom built game engine called Pixel Vision 8, which is a fantasy game console, and I built this tool so I could build 8-bit games. Because I love building 8-bit games. All right, so let's see here. First off, we're going to copy over this data. We're going to get rid of this. And we're going to take this, and the next X is going to be the destination offset X plus the column offset. So this should be fine, because this just calculates the X position. And then this template, this goes and gets the current template. So, okay, so find the X, find the column to copy tiles to off screen. Find the off screen column to copy tiles to, right? And the way that we did this was we just simply say, all right, well, the if we do the math here, 160 is our screen divided by 8. That's 20. We're going to copy this right off screen. Which you can't see because of the love to write Lua code. I hate Lua. There's the core of Pixel Vision 8's C# and it's open source, but the Lua layer is just there for scripting and like coming up with like little game ideas. And Lua is not my favorite language, but that seems to be the flavor of choice for fantasy consoles. All right, let's get rid of this, draw rect, and now what we're going to look to see is that if the source X template width equals 0. So I want to change one thing real quick. This source offset should be source offset C for column. And let's change this to C. And let's change this to row. So while we're cleaning this up, we might as well change the variable names so that they make more sense. All right, let's run this. And see how this works out. All right, so I just had an email come in, so I just wanted to take a look at what I was doing. All right, so I haven't broken anything in the tile map. We rename this. Now let's just rename destination X. We'll start with destination Y as row and destination Y as X as in, wait a minute, what did I just do? Yeah, Y is row, X is column. All right, I broke. That I broke. What did I break? All right. So let's change this to column. Change this to row. And now destination offset X equals X is columns and Y are rows. What the hell is breaking? I think I had selection on. So maybe that... X equals columns. And Y equals rows. Which I'm not even using at all. So I see what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing. Oh my god, my brain like literally just shut off. Used to use Corona. Yeah, Corona's not a bad little framework. All right, let's try this again, but like actually replacing the right variable. That means Jesse. That means Jesse's hungry. I would love, like, one of my meetings got canceled this morning, and I would love nothing more than to like just stream all day, but I can't like do it. I have to like eat at some point. All right, what I want to fix, I'll probably stream for like another hour. What I want to get is I want to get this random tile map stuff working. I think that would be pretty cool. So copy tile data. All right, so what I'm trying to figure out next is why the destination is off by so much. We fixed the first item. Like if I made this -1, this is where we are right now. I need to figure out why the destination needs to be set to 1. Also, another fun fact, it looks like it's not, it's not copying everything out. Height. As long as it's getting the bottom tiles. 112. All right, this is where Lua always screws me up. Basically, the problem is I hate these 0 arrays, these 1-based indexes. I can never figure this stuff out. So let's do this. Template height. So we can get a reference to the template thing. We're going to, we don't need to update the offset. That always is done. Processed, I'm going to pull this out. I don't want this here either. I just want to build, right now, I just want to build the simplest tile map buffer where you can pass it in templates and it just does its thing. Create game own engine. Well, it took me 2.5 years to build this game engine. Like the fact that it looks stable right now is only because it's taken me so long to do this. Reset the spawn counter. Then all right, there's something else. There's a few things. I'm glad I'm actually doing this because I didn't. This really wasn't the cleanest code I wrote. Obviously, during Ludum Dare, I was like, "What? You didn't write clean code in 72 hours?" Attempt index and nil value 32, line 32. Template width. What I was trying to figure out is, I was trying to see if there's a way that we can simplify it where we don't have to pull the template out first. But, it's like the templates all have the same width. So I'm trying to think if like I should pull that back in. It's like the like here, so what was 1, 2 divided by 8 is 14. So we can pull out this width and height now. And we'll just have one variable. Template height. Because then I'm looking at, do we even need a reference to the template? And the answer to that for right now is no. We will eventually use this because we need current template ID. Current template. Local template. Let's stop. Let's stop. I'm getting a little too aggressive here. Let's do this like piece by piece and just make sure things work. So like right now it's lined up. All we got to do is get it to where it's now rendering the bottom line correctly. Because what should happen is that the Zero 16. Source offset, destination offset, -1. This is what I really need to figure out. The destination offset should be 0. Current template, fine. We're not using the template anywhere around here. So let's delete this. At this point, like the way that I'm working, like the way that I work backwards in a lot of this stuff is like just deleting like stuff that I'm not using. I'm just deleting. Like there's no reason in like, so if you're just tuning in, I'm trying to rebuild my Ludum Dare game and make it really clean. What I'm trying to do is go piece by piece to the engine, clean it up, optimize it, fix the bugs, and then move on to the next. Because what happened was yesterday I tried just cleaning up a few things, and I wound up with some pretty critical bugs. I can't figure out where the hell these bugs are. So in this case, it's just easier to rebuild this. And sorry if the mic made a noise. I had to stand up for a second and like stretch. So we'll add back in all the other stuff like spawning and blah, blah, blah. Right now what I'm trying to figure out is we're close. We have... We're now just trying to realign the tile map. Because what's happening now it's even worse. The destination should actually be like 1. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to sample sprites from one area and then paste it to another area. So now let's take a look at the destination row and see where I'm calculating that value. So the destination offset of the row increases, but do I not reset this when we create a new template? $5 says this is the problem. Nope. So this thing is bothering me. I don't know why. Let's do this. Let's set this value to 0 and just see where we're doing. So we're copying a tile from one place and we're pasting it in another place of the tile map. So we set it to 0 and nothing's going to work because it's hold on, let's take a look. Let's just pull out a simple sprite. And yeah, we could do sprite 0. That's fine. All right, so we're seeing that is pasting at the correct place, right? So we set this to 0, fine. So let's do this. Let's set this to 0. It's just really hard to see when we're not copying any pixel data, like if it's actually doing its job. So as you can see right now, we should actually do this. We should find a tile. We should find a sprite ID that's a full tile size, so we can just confirm that we're drawing it at the right place. So let's just use sprite ID 75. All right. So for all intents and purposes, this is copying correctly. It's copying only the pixel data we need, or the theoretical tile data we need, and pasting it where it needs to go. So now the problem really is the source. So let's see. It looks like it's not copying from the source in the correct place. So let's minus 2. Maybe I just did the math wrong. There we go, plus 2. All right. So what we need to figure out is the template has the row. I think I know what I did. Look at that, all this time. This is 144. I moved 144 divided by 8 is 18. There's our problem. All right, look, that's a stupid mistake. I make them a lot. But now you can sort of see the way that I go through and test out different issues. All I needed to do was move the row down. I thought the problem was in where it was copying to the destination, but it really was the source. So if we refresh this now, perfect. Our tile map matches up completely. It looks even. And if, let's just set this to something like really fast, like 200. And we're just gonna let it run for a minute. So here's one place where I just noticed a really big problem. And that's a bug. What's happening is it can't calculate, since I'm using the, where the hell is this? All right, that was the bug right there. All right, and I've noticed this on, the WebGL build. I'm using the speed as a way of modifying where to calculate to draw the next tile, right? If it runs too fast, it actually skips a beat. And if we realign these tiles, since the tile map is always forced to draw in the correct place, you'll see it actually went so fast in the first frame that there wasn't enough buffer to draw the missing piece of tile map. So there's two ways we could fix this. First, let's try changing this to seal, where we detect whether we've hit a new column or not, and see if that fixes the problem. Or it creates a new one, 64. Nope. All right, so my next theory of how to fix this is, let's watch. If we drop this to like 150, let's see what it does if that gap shows up. Look at that. So it's growing exponentially. The faster we go, the bigger the gap is going to be. And I believe that's in the beginning of the game. So what that looks to be is let's do this. We're going to add a little bit of extra buffer. And then we're going to increase the destination position by 2. And what we're trying to do is just say, okay, hey, look, sometimes the screen's going to move so fast in the beginning that it's going to skip right through the overscan area. And just like we have to have a little bit of extra buffer before we start rendering out the tile map, just to capture it if it goes a little too fast. All right, that did shit. I love when I like explain something like super like this is exactly how it is, and I test it out like it doesn't fucking work. All right, I have no clue. I have no clue what I'm doing. Did I not hit save in Photoshop or something stupid like that? How about this? Let's see if this gets written or not. Oops. Whoa, look at that. How cool is that? It looks like it doesn't matter where the hell I draw that buffer. It just seems to add. This is where it's adding the 2. So all right. So come back here into Photoshop. Oh my God. We'll add just a little bit of extra buffer. Hey, all right, it's fixed. So let's try setting the speed to something stupid like 400 and see if we... I couldn't even see, could you? Luckily, we're never going to go that fast. But at 100, you don't see. What I'm trying to catch, though, is the... Oh, interesting. You know what? That's a problem. My solution is not a real fix. I have to figure out why that's really happening. Because what it is it's not calculating where to go correctly. I need to all right, how about this? I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break. I just need to walk away from this problem for a second. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break. What is it, 11? I'm gonna be back at 12 and we'll whoops, not 12 a.m. All right, we're going to do, I have a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to come back, and then we're going to take a look and try to figure out what the hell's going on with this bug, because that one is a pretty critical one that I should fix in this tile map logic. So I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, a little bit late, but started eating some Triscuits and I couldn't stop. All right, so let me get my music playing again. All right. I thought of how to fix this problem. I think the approach I was doing was correct. The problem was I wasn't moving it by an even amount. So 22, 24. Let's see here. Did that work? So let's see if we. I think it's what all it is it's this initial jump. When the thing starts out, it's just not enough buffer for it. So like if we set this to 150. We should be good to go. I mean, we would never set it that high anyways, but it's fine. This way we have a little more buffer. I don't know. I'm not very happy with this solution. I wonder if next column, current column. So scroll position. What I kind of wonder is we pass in the scroll position. What we should probably get is I wonder if we should actually get the real scroll position and just perform the calculation on that. I was trying to save. Like what we would need to do is have this like sort of trailing buffer where it's as we start rendering out the tile map, what we have to do is we have to calculate all right, in the real world, the way that we would avoid a gap like that if the player was moving so fast is we would say, okay, where is the start position? Where is the next position? And how many tiles in between do we need to render? And I think if we're gonna do this the right way, that's what we should actually strive to fix. So our width is 160. We want to always be drawing right off screen. Right, so calculator 24 divided by 160. Whoops, sorry, 160 divided by 8 is 20. Right, so we start rendering at 20. If we start this right now, there's going to be a gap there. And where we want to start is what we want to do is we want to set the current column to the destination offset. And what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the next column. And this should get us going. Right? We're going to see the same gap. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do something like this. So local diff equals the next column minus the current column. And let's just print a diff real quick. And it didn't like that at all. What doesn't it like about this idea? Attempt to perform arithmetic on a table value. Current column. Here we go. Destination offset C. Right, so if we come back up here, I gotta clear this. There's too much crap in this. Hold on, let's clear. Oh, you know what? I think if I remember correctly, there's another bug that I should file too, which is if we come into the debugger here and I hit clear, it looks like it clears it, but it doesn't really clear the file. So a clear log file doesn't really clear. Wait, no, you know what? Here's what it is. Clear, save. Should clear log. No, you know what? That's fine. This isn't a bug. That's by design. So now if I restart it, everything should be good. Okay. So let me, let's clear this. And now tail this file again. That was the problem. It's just like a text editor. I don't have a select all, so there's no way to clear it. Okay, so now what we're looking for is we're going to run this game real quick. Where did it go? We're going to run the game and see the difference on the first frame. So the difference right off the bat is going to be -19 and 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. All right, let's see why the difference is so stark. So on the first thing, when we so next column is going to be equal to, we're going to leave it at this. The current column and the next column are going to be one off from each other. Right? Like, what did this wind up outputting? So now when it starts, no. All right. Clear, save. So right off the bat, it's -1. I think I know why. What we want to do is we only want to calculate when the scroll position is past we only want to start calculating this once the scroll position is past the destination. So this is the destination offset. What's interesting is I don't think I ever increased the destination offset. So what I have to like rethink this for I have to rethink this for a second. Basically, what we want to do is before the next tile shows up on the screen, we want to be drawing ahead. So I believe this math here is off. What we need to figure out is what we got to figure out is if we start at 0, I want to take the scroll position X plus 160. Let's just see if what this does. All right. What I need to figure out really is, it isn't until the scroll position is over a certain amount that, all right, let's test out 2 other things here. Forget this real quick. There's a very specific reason why I'm doing this, because I want to get this math right, because it would be really great to be able to go left or right and have it automatically sort of scroll. Now, it might be a little too over the top, but the problem we're running into right now is it's not correctly figuring this out. So I want to figure out the diff, the next column, and what I want to make sure is that the destination offset, I'm kind of curious to see if the destination offset is constantly changing. All right, so when the destination offset changes by 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. What I'm not understanding is I see what I did wrong here. Hold on a second. I'm also at the table offset column. This is the next column. It's 1, 2, 3. What we need to do is, I think instead of the destination, I think this destination X is wrong, the way I did this. We should really be looking for taking the current column from the scroll position and just adding onto it, and that's what I'm doing wrong here. Yeah. All right. This is the problem. What we want to do is we need to add the destination, which is off screen, to this column. In order to figure out, now, where am I figuring out this position or where to draw this thing? Right, I'm taking this and the destination offset. the next column I hate this like little math stuff that always hangs me up. This is where you like totally see how bad at math I am. I mean, eventually I figure it all out. I just got to figure out, I'm trying to figure out what the simplest way to do this is. Because this destination offset it's like it calculates it correctly here. Copy tile data. Current column. All right, if next column is greater than the current column, let's try this real quick. All right, there we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So, all right, here's what's happening. The problem is that we should only start drawing once the next column is visible. So what we need to do is the next column really is this is what we're missing. The next column is the destination C. This is what we're doing here. The next column really is the current position plus the destination, which is just off screen. In fact, is destination offset row even used? Yeah, it is. All right. All right, so then what we need to do is figure out the current column. That's right. So where we start is the next column, the current column. We'll leave it at that. Let me see what calculator. 20 multiplied by 8 is 160. Right. So when we move the scroll position up by 1, it should do this. Let's see if this actually just runs. All right. It skipped one whole generation, but I think that's because I need to get rid of. Nope. It's just this beginning part. Like once we start the map, that's where everything sort of breaks down. Because what we need to do is right here is the next column, destination offset. We're getting closer. So here we do the current. Column offset. This should fix the gap we have. All right. And now what I want to see is set this to 100. Do we still have the gap in the beginning? We set this to 50. And we set this to 200. As long as this next one is only a gap of 1. Nope, it's back to being a gap of 2. But we're getting closer. 50. What I just want to see is, I want to make sure that these line up correctly. I have this like strange feeling like my math is just all off because I moved everything around. No, okay, this should be good. So now we got to double check is, let's get rid of this, this, and this, and so this was 200. So the gap is still 2, which is consistent, but this pattern is correct. Here, the gap is 1, so it's smaller, but yet it's still consistent. All right, we're getting a little bit closer. What I want to do next is get rid of this next Y, this next X, and just set this to column offset. So now the real question was on the diff. Let's exit this and clear. And what I want to check is the difference, the next column, and the current column on every iteration. We'll save this and let's run this and see what happens. So the gap is 0, 1, and then it goes to the next frame, right? If we were to change this now to 200, let's see if that number changes. What I want to see is that the initial gap should be, yep, there we go. All right, so we can now fix the bug. So my theory was correct. What we need to do is we need to see that if the gap, well, we can do it like this. We're going to get the diff, and we're going to do for next, we'll do diff. Next diff current column, and we'll end this. So here's what we're actually looking to figure out. We want to make sure that if the difference, if the screen is scrolling so fast that for some strange reason we actually skip columns, like let's say it's moving so fast that we're going like 2 columns at a time or 3 columns by a time, that we're keeping up with the buffer and that we're looping through and copying the tiles to make sure that that works. So let's rerun this, and it didn't work. Son of a, I hate that. How am I wrong all the time? Oh, I know why. Because what needs to happen is we need to figure out the next column. This equals the next column, and then next column equals next column plus 1. Nope. Copy data. long time no see. I know, I've been streaming again. It's been magical. Except for when like I'm stuck in a problem like this where I can't figure out how to fix it. Let's do this. Print. Let me try this for a second. I think the zero-based stuff is throwing me off again. Nope. Print diff next column current column. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop the stream soon. We haven't seen you in about a year or two. Yeah, I took some time off. Actually, I was in different groups at Amazon, so now I'm sort of back doing evangelism in App Store. So because of that, I figured I might as well get an audience back up, and doing the daily stream doesn't help. Plus, it gives me lots of material to create blog posts and other content for. Well, thanks for coming back. I'm glad to be back. If only I could figure out what the hell I was doing here. Trying to fix a little math bug in my tile map editor. Well, in my random map generation stuff. Although I am feeling like I'm going to move away from this pretty soon. New column 46. Next column. In current column. Let's see if this fixes it. Wait, did that get me closer? Nope. What the hell's going on? No, I sort of remember the name. I have a bad memory anyways, so even if it was like last week, I probably might not remember. Next column, current column. All right, what I want to figure out is let's see here. I want to get, all right, I'm going to try to fix this one bug and then we're going to call it a day. We're going to update the map buffer. Let me set this back down to like 50 for a second here. So at a lower speed, it doesn't do much, but I just saw that error. I wonder if setting this to 19 would help. All right, so there you can see it screwing up. Yeah, wow, it's really breaking. All right, let me go back to how it was before, when at least it didn't do stupid crap. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to run it slow, and we're going to see. I'm just going to bring up the destination, and let's set this to 19, so we should be able to see every row getting copied over. So now we're seeing that, and you can see it's not fast enough. So if we moved it out by, now we moved it out by 21, there should be a 1 gap, right? Because now it's skipping that area. So what I was thinking was that the current tile should be -1. And that shrinks it by half, but it shrinks it by 1 tile. But let's see if we go to 200, what that does. Right, like in order to fix this, if we move this back to 200, all right, so that we only get so much out of this by going 1 back, and this should be 20. I really wonder why. So what I should figure out is if the speed. I wonder if there's a better way of figuring this out. I wonder if we can calculate how many rows. Let's do it this way for a second. I want to redo the math. So what we're going to look for is last scroll X. Well, let's find out local loops, or we'll do local total equals the, if we're increasing, right? If the scroll now is at, if the scroll's at 0 and then we now minus 50, we're going to get negative 50. So what we want to do is we want to take the scroll position X minus the last scroll position, or last scroll X, right? And we're going to get a total. And then I think what we need to do also is, well, let's do this. Let's just do print total and see what the total is. All right, so what we weren't doing was after we calculate the total, we will save out the last scroll, the scroll position. And now every frame, we're going to see the difference between the last frame and the current frame. I mean, this is how I calculate speed. The problem, so the basic issue is, and I've clearly been able to define it, is that I'm not taking into account the difference between each frame and how long it takes to render to the next frame in order to generate out this tile map. So let's get down here to the end and run this and see what it says. All right, so what's going to happen is the first frame, you'll see there's 16. We need to draw 16 tiles. Sorry, we need to draw 2 tiles because it's going to be divided by 2. Then we have a draw, and then here we see it's just 3, 3, 3. $23. But this diff should be it right here. This is also the correct way to do it. I'm just doing the same thing twice, and I don't really need to do that. What we're going to say is that everything starts at the same position. And let's clear this, save it, come back here. And now if I rerun it, what I'm looking for is the diff value. So the diff is 2. So what I need to do is get it to the point where it knows it's doing 20. We need to loop it 2 more times. So let's come here. We don't need to worry about this anymore. I was on the right path. What we need to do is for I diff We're going to say current column equals current column plus I. And then loop through this and call copy tile. Please work. I want to move on with my life. Close. Please work. Yes! Nailed it. 50. 50 draws correctly. 100. And if we did like 400 or something, we shouldn't see any gaps anymore. Oh, finally. All right, so moral of the story is this. We need to make sure that we are taking into account the difference between how many columns we need to render since the last one. Now, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to make this 21, so it's off screen. And now we shouldn't see... Oh, son of a... As long as it's a consistent 200. As long as it's a consistent gap, it means our code is holding up. All that it means is that I just went off. I went too far ahead. So if we do 50, are we going to see this being rendered? All right, so we need to go out one tile to right off screen. And I think what we need to do is, yep, okay, I know what we need to do. So now what we need to do is take the current tile and make that -1. And now rerun this. Boom, fixed. Woo! That was a tough little bug. Math, man, it's hard. All right, so I mean, this became a problem when I was playing the game. In fact, let me even just pull it up. Ludum die. Oh, I don't need to mute this one. Am I getting any rankings? Not a genre mashup. Yep, it's not a genre mashup. I don't think I'm gonna do very well with this game. The theme was to put two genres together, and what I screwed up in doing was I wanted it to be turn-based, and I just didn't get around to making that happen. Let's let this load up. So what happens is when this runs in the browser, it runs really slow. Thanks, Unity. And there were places where I actually saw it not calculating the tile map correctly. And I have a feeling that that has a lot to do with, of course, now that I'm doing it, you won't see this error. But, all right, whatever. Anyways, I think this is the time that I'm going to end. I probably need to eat some lunch. Maybe what we'll do tomorrow is tomorrow we'll come up and we'll figure out how we can automate where the templates know their ends and match them up together. So instead of us having to do like a chart like this manually, where I went through and like mapped that. Oh, not this one. I don't know. It's one of these files. this thing here where I had to like literally map out every one and see which ones they connected to. We should do something where it automatically pieces it together for you. But this is feeling really good. I like this. Let's see if there's any other low-hanging fruit. What we should do is, let's see. So we're going to calculate the next column to render based on the new position. Right? And then what we're going to do is calculate the number of tiles in between the new column and the previous column. Loop through the diff. We'll do this as total. Loop through the total tiles and draw them to the display. I could have like just not given a shit about this and like just set the number to something that made sense and didn't see the bug. But the problem is that when the speed, the frames per second fluctuate, you would see this pop up. So it's important to like really think through all these problems. Copy over the column of column from the current template and increase the column number for the next loop. I just want to write these notes so I remember what the hell I did here. All right, for the most part, I think this is pretty much done. We have our source offset, our destination offset with the next column, the current column. We have a current template that we're rendering from and the template size, which means that we can now pull this out. And what we're probably going to wind up doing is we'll do some stuff where we probably don't even need this. Well, we don't even need this anymore. We can just say template 1 is at this position and this position. So we'll deal with more of that random stuff tomorrow. But yeah, this is pretty good. This is looking pretty good. All right, thanks everyone for watching the stream. I'm gonna wrap it up, make myself some lunch, and then do some like work. But this is pretty cool, exciting stuff. Don't save anything. Cool. Terminate. And awesome. All right. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Let me see what my schedule looks like tomorrow. I believe I have an early meeting tomorrow at 11. So I'll probably be streaming from around like 9 to 11 tomorrow. So see you tomorrow.